but then I turned it back off. Alright, try it again. You've been listening to Danny Shaw on the keys. This is Maplex Monk. We're here in the Creative Community Studio, March 14th, 2012. Still getting situated. But this is Danny the Yeti over here, also known as Danny Shaw. What's that?
What's up, Maplex?
How you doing today, sir?
Not too bad, sir. Beautiful day. How about yourself?
It was a wonderful day out today. I got lots of bike riding in for my job, and now we're here at the studio for a little interview / jam session.
Yeah.
What have you? Danny is currently a member in Lotus Blake and in a band called National Hotel, formerly a member of Matter of Chance. Do you want to talk a little bit about your progression from Matter of Chance to where you're at now? Moving
sure.
from Dayton to Louisville and all that?
Yeah, sure. I started out playing music a long time ago when I was 3, and I took lessons, did all that, and since then I've played with a lot of different kinds of groups. I've done anything from math rock to noise band, progressive rock. I did a little bit of funk with some of the guys from Ohio Players and Bootsy Collins. So I've jammed with a lot of different people, and then I moved into the jam band scene with the Works. It's a band out of Dayton. They're pretty well known on the national scene. But, and then I started playing with Matter of Chance, and that was really the first album that I ever did on a full-length album. We did all the tracks. I did a lot of the keyboards. I did, strings, arrangements, and it was a pretty cool process the way we did it. We did everything separate, and so we did all that, and we decided actually that it would be a good thing to start it as a band and play some shows. So 2 years later, we played a whole bunch of shows. I think close to 100 shows, and we played with some well-known national acts and a lot of really good local acts as well. We did all those shows, and we had a really good time. But I met Matthew actually when I was touring with the Works. We played a show at the Hideaway down here in Louisville, and I met Matthew, and we started talking, and he introduced me to his music, and I really liked what he was doing down here. And so I kind of started. There was this phase where we weren't doing a whole lot. I wasn't doing anything with Lotus and Blake. Still doing a lot with Matter of Chance, and there came more opportunities for me to play shows with Lotus Blake. So
Sure.
I started going back and forth between Lotus Blake and Matter of Chance. I'd play some shows in Louisville and play some shows with Matter of Chance, and eventually, with the new direction Matter of Chance wants to go, and some of the chemistry between us, I really wanted to move down here and start with Lotus Blake just because of the playing style, and Matter of Chance really wasn't my thing anymore. I still love those guys, and they're doing great. And if you haven't heard of Matter of Chance, please check them out. You can go to mocband.com. They're working on their new album. It should be really, really good. They're getting a lot of press from the local radio station, 104.7 WTV. So they're doing a lot of good things, and I'm glad they're getting out there. But we actually have a show together with Matter of Chance in Dayton at WO Wrights. It's going to be on April 13th. That's a Friday.
Don't you have a show coming up a little sooner than that?
Yeah, actually, I'm playing with National Hotel Saturday at Knock Bar.
Right on.
National Hotel is actually number 5 in the global rankings on Reverb Nation for jam bands,
which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, out of thousands of bands, and they're a great electronic jam band. All really great musicians. Older guys. I'm definitely the youngest by far in that band. But they brought me in yesterday for practice, and they had some songs that were going to work out, and we really didn't know if I was going to play Saturday night or not.
Yeah.
But we did some practicing, and they really liked what I did for the band. So
nice.
I'm going to be playing on a couple songs Saturday night.
Some good collaborations, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to sit in on a few of those practice sessions with Lotus Blake at the National Hotel headquarters, and those guys are serious musicians. And Eric on the drums is a wild man. Like he just goes at it, and you see it, like his face is just blank. We were talking about this earlier. His face is just blank, and his hands are just a blur, like a storm.
Yeah, he's a monster.
drumsticks just flying through the air. It's crazy. And then every once in a while, you'll see like a look of recognition come across his face when like he does something that he really appreciates and enjoys. But yeah, those guys are amazing musicians. And it sounds like you got a lot of good things in the works and coming up real soon. Do you want to play another little jam session on the keys for us?
Yeah, and I was gonna say a little bit about more about Lotus Blake. Too.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we're working on our album right now. That should be coming out here pretty soon. I think we're gonna cut a 3-track demo EP, maybe 4 tracks, and then release that. And we're planning the Homefront Harvest Show Festival, which will be on May 26th. Is the prospective date. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be set in stone though. That'll be all local artists and local bands.
Right.
But, with Lotus Blake, like I said, we're playing Friday the 13th in April at W.O. Wright's. Lotus Blake and Matter of Chance, maybe Street, Status Flow. I'm not sure if they're coming out or not. It's a hip-hop group. They're good, too. Check them out, smartpeoplemusic.com. But, yeah, check out Lotus Blake. Check out Matter of Chance, Status Flow, National Hotel for sure.
Sounds like some great stuff, man.
Yeah, we will be playing on Saturday night at the Knock Bar. Show starts at 9, St. Patty's Day, so come get your jig on.
Right on. And you can see a lot of the stuff that we're working on. We'll be posting to maplexmonk.com. That's maplexmonk.com. And, we're always posting things on Facebook whenever we get something accomplished or we get something recorded, produced, and edited. And we're trying to have as many artists and musicians and photographers and filmmakers and every other kind of creative individual that we can here at the studio as often as possible. We have regular studio hours from about 5 p.m. to midnight, Monday through Friday, and on weekends upon request. So if anybody's interested in getting their name out there a little bit more or just coming and discussing something or playing some music live, for our friends and your friends and whoever else might be paying attention from Facebook and Ustream and Twitter and all the other outlets that we can get to. We're trying to expand this as much as possible, as quickly as possible, and grow some good, strong community here. We're the creative community. You're the creative community. Let's work on some stuff together. Danny's gonna play another song for us here. Do a little jam session on the keys. And we'll be back in just a minute.
Can you load me up with that piano and strings tone?
Yeah, you want me to change it? Sure.
Yeah.
Just 1 second.
This is a song I've been actually working on for a while. I wrote it back when I was in college. Well, I started writing it when I was in college. And it's kind of one of those songs that I've made my masterpiece over so many years, changing little parts of it, but
nice.
This is the current version I have right now.
Is this the sound pack you were looking for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, take it away, man. beautiful, man.
Thank
What do
you.
you call that?
I haven't really given it a name. I had it named after, well, of course, a girl I used to date, but
Oh yeah.
after that ended, can't really justify that song title with that beautiful of a song. But,
It was a beautiful song for sure.
But you'll have to excuse my left hand ever since August when I had my dog attack.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit? What happened?
I can. Yeah, in August I was actually attacked by a dog. I was just walking down the street and my hand was pretty tore up in the incident. I really didn't do anything to the dog. I didn't even pet it.
Right.
But it just kind of jumped up and bit me.
Spazzed out on you.
Yeah, and ended up having a staph infection.
That's scary. That's some serious stuff.
Yeah, the people at the emergency room said that if I wouldn't have been in there within the next couple of days, I would have got gangrene and lost my hand.
Yikes.
And then, so ever since then, I've been to a hand specialist, physical therapy, all kinds of stuff.
How often do you do that sort of thing?
Well, I was doing the physical therapy 3 times a week for about a month and a half.
Okay.
And then the hand specialist pretty much said that there's nothing more they can do for my hand.
Yeah.
Surgery would further the scarring in the deep tissue of my hand. And any more physical therapy is just going to strengthen it. It's not going to loosen it up.
Right on.
So, I don't have the speed or accuracy I used to have. Took me 20 years to get.
You're still an amazing, phenomenal piano player, keyboard player. Every time I've seen you play, it's been an amazing experience to get to hear the kinds of things that you can do. I've been working on different things like guitar and tinkering with keyboards and like drums and whatnot for years, but I'm nowhere near your level of skill, and it's always
You're not
a pleasure.
a bad guitar player yourself.
Thanks, man.
Or cajon.
I try. I do things from time to time, but you are an excellent musician for sure.
Thank you, sir.
Do you let's see, what have we talked about? Do we want to talk about anything else, or do you want to do another jam session?
I mean, we can talk about my influences in music a little bit.
Yeah, let's hear that.
I've listened to a lot of different kinds of music since I was a kid. My dad was really into soul music.
Okay.
Like funk, Motown, that kind of stuff.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, that does explain a lot about my influence because I love that kind of music, R&B.
Sure.
My dad loved the Commodores and those bands, and I really got into that. And then my mom listened to more rock stuff, so she was into Zeppelin and
so you've got a pretty good variety of influences there.
Yeah. So I grew up listening to a lot of cool stuff. Plus, my grandma and my grandpa listened to jazz, Bing Crosby, stuff like that. So I got into that, and then my uncle, he has a lot of music knowledge. Introduced me to Zappa and Jethro Tull and Deep Purple and some of the more lesser known progressive
but
bands.
really amazing.
Yeah. And that's where I really found my love for the organ.
Yeah.
I do a lot of organ work in the bands I play, not so much solo, but it's a really powerful instrument, can be used
definitely
to really accent the guitar and the rest of the band. So
I feel like it creates kind of a firm foundation for a song to have a really strong organ or keyboard part to it.
Yeah, it adds a lot of depth, and plus with the guitar, I mean, my piano teacher growing up, he was a pretty cool guy. He was a touring country piano player. So he played for he played for Brooks and Dunn for a while, a lot of big
awesome.
country acts. Yeah, cool guy. And he always said that I picked the wrong instrument because I'd bring in, I'd be like 13 or younger and bringing in Jimi Hendrix songs or Led Zeppelin songs to learn on the piano.
Right.
And he would he'd be like, "Why weren't you a lead guitar player?" And so when I got the guitar, and I really like to solo, but I don't like to take away from the band. But I like to do really intricate things behind the music. But when I got the guitar, it really allowed me to kind of be a lead guitar player and a keyboard player at the same time because of the effects that I can use on that instrument.
Right, and there's like now with the digital music that you can do, and you can plug your keyboard into the computer and use software and make it sound like anything. Mm-hmm. And the guitar is the same way, but with built-in effects, right?
Yeah, correct.
But thousands of effects, right? Like, how
Mhm.
many effects do you think you have on your guitar?
I don't know. It's ridiculous. It's the amount of things that are in that keyboard and the capability and the portability.
Did you
I'm-
say you had a theremin built into like
Yeah.
the neck of it?
It has a Blu-ray theremin built into
That's
the
crazy.
neck, so I can do pitch blends and phase shifts while I'm playing,
Live,
basically
on the
waving,
fly.
Yeah, waving my hand in front of it. And actually, I've been working on a thing to use with the crowd. Actually,
Yeah.
if you hold a chord down and you wave the guitar in front of the crowd, if they have their hands up,
Yeah.
it'll catch the beams of their hand and it'll actually
What?
make it. Yeah.
What?
Like, it'll sound like across the front row. So
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Physical music that you can. That's crazy.
yeah, it's pretty wild.
It's because the theremin's built in. Do you know much about the theremin?
Yeah, it's I know. I mean, I'm no theremin expert, but
Sure.
I know how to work one, and I know a lot about. I've done a lot of research, especially with Jimmy Page's use of the theremin,
Right.
because he's kind of like the pioneer of it all, and he did it a lot with the theremin. So I've been watching a lot of instructional videos on him.
Cool. Do you know like about the invention of the theremin when it was first made? I've heard that it was it the first electronic instrument?
Yeah, it was, and it has a lot to do with there's different kinds of theremins. Basically, it's electromagnet, and you interrupt the signal of the light. And I'm not really sure the details.
Yeah.
I'm not a scientist.
Okay.
But, I would love to be able to go into some in-depth technical conversation about
Yeah.
it. But
We'll have to do some research, and
You
we'll have an episode on in which we discuss theremins at great length. But
basically, I mean, the basic gist of it is the farther up you go
careful.
from the
sorry.
laser, I know,
Yeah.
Yeti trap. The farther up you go from the laser changes the timbre,
Okay.
and then if you go away or forward, it changes the pitch. So you can actually, it's like I don't know, it's hard to explain.
Yeah. But pretty awesome instrument.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to use. Anybody that can move their hand can use it, or any appendage.
Yeah. And I've heard that they're pretty easy to make. I'm sure that you could do a Google search on how to make one and go to a hardware store and be able to pick up all the parts pretty easily, from what I understand.
Yeah.
I've never made one myself. I'd love to. That would be a cool project to work on, and we could film the process of the project or
That
something
would be
like that.
fun.
That would be awesome. And then we could play, learn how to play some songs on it and have a whole broadcast playing the theremin. We could make a bunch of them and have a theremin concert.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Get like 30 people together with them.
Get a whole. We could get sort of, what's that band? The Polyphonic Spree. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Get like that many people all playing theremin
that'd be wild.
as one.
Yeah,
Maybe have a big drum circle
yeah,
and theremin
and kazoos.
performance with kazoos.
Yeah, the
Yes.
electronic kazoos with the pickup in them.
I think we've got the next big festival that's gonna happen right here.
Yeah,
That's-
kazoos and theremins and drums.
But just like acoustic, like djembe drums and whatnot. Didgeridoo. We should get some didgeridoo involved.
Yeah, it could be like
Yes.
this real weird world instrument gathering. We'll do it.
Kazoo, didgeridoo, theremin, djembe drums. Anything else? What else can you think of? Triangle. Okay.
Cowbell.
But it's gotta all be acoustic sort of
Yeah.
instruments. And it'll raise.
Except for the kazoo and the theremin, obviously.
Oh yeah. What am I thinking? That's not all acoustic instruments. But yeah, but
Maybe some wambos, a couple sitars. Be good to go.
that'd be awesome. Definitely. When can we put that together? You think by next summer maybe we'll get a
Next summer, yeah, when we're
theremin party.
by that time we'll be famous and theremin party will be huge. We'll have it at Red Rock.
Theremin party 2013
Hmm
when the world ends again.
The world ends the third time.
Y2K 2.
You know that's the Mayans didn't actually account for a leap year, so the world should have ended a year and 7 months ago.
I saw something and reposted it on Facebook that said that, and but I put a message on it that said, if anybody can verify this for me, I'd like to know if this is actually accurate. Which I'm still not 100% sure if it's true or if it doesn't matter. Like somebody was like, well, it doesn't matter because they didn't have leap years, but they did account for how much time would pass before whatever. And whenever somebody was, it's because somebody had to translate the Mayan calendar.
Yeah.
So whenever they're translating the Mayan calendar, the person who was talking to me's point was they would have accounted for the change to having a calendar with leap years. So when they set the date of when the thing was going to happen based on the Mayan calendar, they would have accounted for there being leap years in our current calendar to set the date of, what is it, December 21st, 2012.
Speaking of which, I'm planning it into the World Party.
I've heard a little bit about that. Have you put any more thought into it?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk a little bit with Ron Whitehead, good friend of ours, about playing in it. I really want to have it at Burning Man.
That would be awesome.
So it's gonna be kind of cold that time of year. I was thinking about doing it at Red Rock.
Yeah, that would be cool too.
But too much snow and it can be a problem. So either way, I mean, it's gonna be fun. If the world ends, you'll go out having some rock and roll. You know, it'll be a fun time. But if the world doesn't end, we're gonna have a bad.
Still gonna have an amazing time.
Festival. Yeah, correct.
That's what it's all about. I wonder how difficult it would be to set up something like that at Red River Gorge. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I'm sure it'd be easier than it would be if we set it up at
Burning Man. I wonder how long ahead of time you have to get involved with Burning Man to actually get to play, or if you can do that at kind of short notice.
I'm not sure. I think as long as you have the money for the generators and can promote it, I think they'll let you pretty much do
if you can get out there and you have the equipment, go ahead, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I suppose that's why we need to get like solar panels.
Correct.
Solar panels and like generators and battery banks, and then we can go anywhere, and we can just perform and put on mini concerts, mini festivals, or whatever.
Yeah, it'd be great.
It's the way of the future.
The future is here.
You want to play another jam for us, man?
Yeah, actually, I think I've been doing original stuff all night. I think I'm gonna do a cover.
Sounds good.
Little cover set. I'm actually gonna do. First, I'll do Blackbird by the Beatles and Let It Be by the Beatles, and then I'll throw you guys a couple Zeppelin tunes as well.
That sounds awesome, man. I love all of those things.
Cool.
I'm gonna go ahead and switch back over to the microphone that's miking your keyboard.
Cool.
And take it away. awesome, man.
Thank you, sir.
I was listening to the playback on the iPad.
Oh, really?
So I've got to turn the mics back up. But yeah, I was listening to the playback on the iPad, which I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do or not, and I wasn't sure if it was. I was, because so far I haven't really been able to test the sound or listen to the sound playback since we started. We did do several sound tests before we started, but I was still. We've had so many technical difficulties over the amount of time that we've been making these recordings that I'm always kind of like, it probably still sounds horrible. Yeah. Whenever if somebody's listening to it on the internet or something like that. So, but it sounds really good, at least on the iPad.
Cool.
The piano was coming through really clear, and I didn't get to hear our voices obviously because you were playing piano at the time.
Yeah.
But I think that it's coming through pretty good.
Cool.
It looks like we've got a few viewers right now live watching the show, which is always nice to see, and hopefully next time we'll be able to, because we were talking about this earlier, we're going to start planning out, if possible, a week ahead of time, every show that we're going to do, get a bunch of people scheduled, and then we can start announcing a week ahead of time, and I guess potentially every day up until each performance. Just keep posting things to Facebook and other things like Twitter, and just keep people in the know, and
spread the word.
Spread the word. Try to build a following. Try to get people watching the things that we're doing and getting involved with the things that we're doing, because that's what it's really all about at the creative community, with Maplex Monk or otherwise. Because we're trying to get, like I said before, we're trying to get a lot of creative individuals to work together and make some amazing things, help the economy of our fair city, Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville, to all you out-of-towners. That's what I called it when I first moved here. Was Louisville.
I was broken of that habit already.
You've only been here for what, like 2 months?
Yeah.
Yeah. It took me a while. I was adamantly saying Louisville for a while. Like I was in high school and I was like it doesn't. You sound like idiots. And now, I mean, that's just how you say it. It's Louisville.
Louisville for sure.
And maybe it's just one of those things that we hold on to from our Kentucky past, and that's the stereotypical kind of stuff that Kentuckians get made fun of for. But
sure enough,
I mean, I'm sure that there are still lots of Kentuckians that have very thick country accents. Yeah. But I think that a lot of people, especially in the bigger cities, have developed more non-regional diction. Or maybe I just like to think so. I don't know. Yeah. But I mean, I have lots of friends that don't sound like your stereotypical Kentucky person.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of Ohio people that sound like your stereotypical Kentucky person.
Northern Kentucky, I mean, it's right there by Ohio.
Yeah, farther north, up from where I'm from in Troy, north of Dayton, there's quite a few.
I imagine at this point there are country folk everywhere.
Simple people everywhere, dude.
I mean, country folk aren't necessarily simple people, but
that's not a bad thing. Why you gotta take that out of context?
All right, I wasn't saying it's a bad thing.
But yeah, please support the creative community.
Yes, I mean, that's the ultimate point of, I guess, this rambling rant that we've been going on here. But yeah, please help us support the creative community and help us build it in Louisville and elsewhere. We're hoping to go on a tour, or we're planning a tour right now, and
it's kind of set in stone on that.
Set in stone. All right. We're planning a tour right now with Lotus Blake and with National Hotel.
Maplex Monk.
Maplex Monk is going to be involved as well, and we're gonna go everywhere we can. We're setting things up through Reverb Nation, and we're talking to people and putting things out there, trying to get it going. Anybody that hasn't listened to our music yet, check out the Reverb Nation pages of Lotus Blake and National Hotel and Maplex Monk. You can, on mine at least, you can download songs and as well as listen to them and look at some of the videos that are also posted on the Ustream.tv site, some of them, and on the YouTube channel Maplex Creative, Maplex Creative, Maplex Creative on YouTube. That's where we're putting up all of our finished edited videos, which earlier on some of them are still kind of sad and the sound is really bad in some of them, but we're figuring we're figuring things out as we go along. And there's just so much technology available today, and relatively inexpensively. I mean, it's still taken me several years to get to the point where I can do this kind of broadcast, but yeah, it's prices are going down on technology, and if you can do something like this, you should. You know, if you know somebody who has webcams and microphones, then you should go talk to them and get involved and get whatever message you have out there. You know, if you have something that you want to say or something that you want to do, or if you play music, or if you create art, or if you are a photographer or a filmmaker, or there's so many various things that you could do that other people want to know about and want to see. I mean, there's an audience for everything, is one of the things that I like to say. And if you do something, let us know about it. If you want to get it out there, let us know about it. We'd be happy to feature you on our show sometime. Just get a hold of us through Facebook or through the website, maplexmonk.com, or there's several other ways you can get a hold of us. But we're here today with Danny DeYeti, also known as Danny Shaw of Lotus Blake. And I, again, am your host, Maplex Monk. Do you want to play something else for us? Or
yeah, if you want me to.
I mean, you can jam as long as you want. We've got up to 3 hours of recording time.
Hook me up with a Rhodes piano.
Rhodes piano? Sure.
Yeah.
What is this that you're going to play next?
I don't know.
You don't know? Just some kind of jam on a Rhodes piano?
Yeah, it just sounded good.
Sounds good to me, man. Where was Rhodes piano again?
Should be under keyboards or electric piano. Or acoustic, yeah.
Acoustic piano, probably.
No, under electric piano. Yeah.
There we go. Chorus Rhodes?
Yeah. Or wait, hold on. What other choices are there?
Chorus Rhodes.
Do
Blues Rhodes.
Burly Whirly, actually.
Burly Whirly.
I like to say.
All right,
no,
this is.
No, do Blues.
You don't like
Rhodes.
that one? Okay.
Do Blues
All right, this is a Blues Rhodes piano pack, and Danny's gonna take it away with another jam. Go ahead and turn this microphone back on. Whenever you're ready, man.
Okay.
That was a rockin' jam, man.
Thank you, sir. This came off the top of the head.
Yeah. Don't have a name for it, just
No, just a Rhodes jam, I guess.
yeah, Rhodes Jam by
Rhodes Jam.
Danny DeYeti.
Yes, sir.
Right on. Do you want me to change it to some other kind of instrument? Do a little bit more jamming, or do you want to do some more talking? Like,
What do you want to do? I kind of want to do some more talking.
you want to do some more talking?
Yeah, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, I'm down with that. What do you think of this view here? Do you like it with my little picture-in-picture over here on the right side, or I can be over on the left side, sort of a talk show host sort of setup? What do you think?
I
man?
like the talk show stuff.
You like this one?
Yeah.
I like it, but the way that my chair is right now, I've got to adjust a little bit. All right,
There you go.
but I guess it makes it. I was about to say it makes us more the same size, but it does the opposite of that.
Yeah.
It's, we're still equally different sized.
It's
on the
cool
screen.
though.
But yeah, we just got these new title bars on the page, as of the last time we did recording or two. And yeah, we've been working figuring out the software a little bit more. So I think that it's getting good. It's getting clean. We're getting the whole process figured out.
I like it. It's getting snappy looking.
I like it. We're gonna have to figure out some kind of introduction music or something like that probably eventually.
I can work on that.
But well, I was thinking even just having you
Yeah.
playing on the keyboards, we could have you. If you weren't going to be on the episode
Yeah.
in question, you could be maybe over here to the side with the keyboard set up. If somebody else was in your position right now where you are,
I'll be your Paul Schaefer.
that would be great. That would be great. I need a Paul Schaefer. Yeah, what do you think about that, Paul?
Well, I'm not gonna be like Paul Schaefer though. I'm not trying to go bald anytime soon.
Yeah, you would look really strange with a bald head, I imagine.
Or act like Paul Schaefer.
Paul Schaefer's a character, man.
He is. He's a little crazy.
I remember seeing him in Blues Brothers back in the day.
Blues Brothers 2000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's a crazy cat,
Yeah.
but always entertaining. But yeah, we could have you play some keyboards at some point during an introductory part. We could even have you play in the background behind a podcast potentially when we're having a discussion about something. But if we're doing it like we're doing it today, we're kind of turning the volume down on the microphone that mics the keyboard every time. I suppose eventually we'll be able to run the keyboard directly into the mixer.
Yeah, that should
sound a
happen
little bit
shortly. We could do that with a keytar.
Mhm. That would be cool.
Yeah, we can do that some other time.
Does it have a MIDI out or? Is it just,
It hit quarter inch. Go
Quarter
straight
inch.
into the mixer.
yeah,
Quarter inch.
we'll figure that out. That sounds good.
Sorry, my country slipped out.
Quarter inch.
Yep.
The Ohio country.
Ohio country's pretty funny.
Yeah. What part of Ohio is Ohio country?
Well, like north of Dayton
North of Dayton.
and east of Columbus is pretty much no man's land.
Yeah.
There's a lot of farmers out there, and they're good people,
Right.
but they're farmers and
They're very country.
very country.
Country
We have a
fried.
lot of big trucks.
What's Ohio Buckeyes?
Ohio Buckeyes, yeah.
Country fried Buckeyes out there.
Yeah, we do have some countrified Buckeyes and some city folk as well.
You're from Dayton originally.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about the scene in Dayton and the kinds of music things that are going on there? I know you were in Matter of Chance and all that, but what
Yeah.
else is going on?
There's a lot of really good musicians that come out of Dayton. A lot of my friends, Brooks Daughtry, he's an amazing guitar player. The guys in Matter of Chance, The Works. We have Audible Influence. That's a really good band out of Dayton. Status Flow is hip hop. I mean, there's a very diverse scene,
Yeah.
but it's not an eclectic scene as far as fans are concerned.
What
It's
do you
pretty-
mean by it's not an eclectic scene?
It's pretty cliquey.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the fans in Dayton will only go to one genre's shows,
That's interesting.
and they only hang out with certain bands. I mean, it's really cliquey. There's certain bars that you go to, only certain bands play those bars, and only certain people go. It's not down here in Louisville where everybody will just go to a different.
I was gonna ask, do you think it's different here than that? And I imagine it kind of is, but yeah, it seems like they would be kind of cliquey everywhere. You know,
Mhm.
like the kinds of kids that go to the dance parties.
Yeah.
You know, they go to the dance parties and they go to the festivals, and they probably are fairly choosy, like specific about what genres of bands that they go and see in general. You know,
Yeah, and
it may be a generational thing though,
I think that could
at
be
least
it.
in part.
You know, because a lot of people our age will go and hang out other
Yeah.
places, but
And be more inclined to see more of a variety of things. And I don't know. I don't know how that translates to the difference between here and Dayton exactly, but
well, I think a lot of it has to do with the metal scene is really big in Dayton,
is it?
and I think that drives a lot of the people out of the live music scene.
Well, I think that really loud and fast genres like metal,
Yeah.
there's only a specific audience for it.
Well,
I mean,
it's not only that. I mean, it's like in your genre of music and your local band scene.
yeah,
You're gonna have a handful of bands that have spent a lot of time practicing and working on material and are really good, and then
Right.
you have a lot more bands that are either guys that do music as a hobby, which is great. If you want to do cover bands or whatever, and you love to play music, that's great. And if you're not trying to make it your living, it's
Yeah.
you know, all the more
It serves a
power to you.
purpose,
Yeah,
at least.
yeah, and it's fun for whoever's playing it. But you know, you have those weekend warriors, but you also have people who aren't really at the level that they should be playing out a lot. You know,
Right.
especially at bigger venues. And, you know, you can I can see house parties and stuff, but I mean, there's a lot of people that in Dayton that'll open up for bands and they'll just kind of drive the crowd away. We had that happen a lot in Matter of Chance.
Yeah.
A couple bands drove our crowd away actually before we even got on stage, which is kind of sad. But I mean, you know,
I suppose it's kind of the luck of the draw, though. I'm sure that happens in every city.
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
once in a while, there'll just be a band that opens and people are like, "This is not what I came here for at all."
Yeah,
You know.
well, and it's not necessarily that band doesn't know what they're doing, but you know, a lot of the
Sometimes
times
it's probably just not a good match,
Mhm.
between the two different genres of music.
well, and that shouldn't really matter. You know, if people are really into music, they should take everything in.
That's kind of an idealist perspective, though, of
Yeah.
the audience, because like you said, people are specific about what they want to listen to sometimes,
Yeah.
and it may not be as much like that here, but I'm sure that it is like that to some extent here as well.
Yeah. Well, and I think the active music listener, the mindset has changed a little bit because I mean back in the 60s and 70s, a lot of people went to concerts because they were into the music.
Yeah, you don't
And-
think people are into music now?
Well, it's not that I don't think they're into music, but people went to actively watch the bands. I think a lot of people go to bars that have music playing to use the band as a jukebox, like background music, and to have their own party at the bar.
Do you think that's like we were talking a minute ago, kind of a generational thing, or do you think
I
that's
think it is.
more of a there are just certain people that do that? Like there's certain groups of people that are more, they're more about what I'm doing as opposed to what the band or what the musicians are doing.
I think it's a combination of both. I think there's a generational, because I believe that with the internet and technology and interpersonal communication, and
Yeah.
we don't have really interpersonal communication anymore. It's all via text message or
Right.
Twitter and all that. I think that has a lot to do with it. People don't really want to be an active
Yeah.
member of a concert, and and that has a lot to do with it too. Fans that are really watching a band play,
Yeah.
really listening,
Sure.
they're active in your performance. I mean, the energy from
Yeah.
them.
They're a
feeds
part.
off.
They're a part of the performance in a very real way.
Yeah, correct. And I don't know. I think that a lot of people don't want to be an active participant in the show anymore because they have prior obligations going on. They're not just out to have music. They're worried about
Right.
who they're with, what they're looking like,
And I suppose
getting
that-
wasted,
Yeah.
things like that.
I suppose what you were saying about technology really makes a lot of sense in that sense because the more connected we are capable of being, the more people are going to recognize that through things like that they can get exposure, and so that's it. And we have more and more billions of people in the world every year, but that kind of gives people this mindset that it's easier now, which it is. But if it's a whole lot easier, that means that more people are going to try to figure that out, and so you've got more of these people that are trying to make it big all the time.
Yeah, and I think it floods
in every
the market.
in every
Yeah.
public social situation. They're trying to get as much networking done as possible. Not not that there's anything wrong with that,
Yeah.
but some of it may be kind of misguided and like just more of a popularity contest than an actual active effort to get something done, get something produced. Because I feel like there's a difference there. Like there's a fine line between someone who just wants to get famous and wants to meet lots of people and someone who is really passionate about the music or passionate about whatever the art is that they're creating.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a difference between being conscious of the need to build an audience in order to progress your work and the desire to build an audience just to be popular.
Well, yeah, and I believe that's a huge thing, and not only in the music community, but it's a big part of the music community.
Sure.
There are a lot of people that are after fame and glory. They want to be rock stars. They want to be rappers. They want to be pop stars. It's not about, hey, I love music and I want to let people listen to my music, and I want everybody to hear my music. It's not about the music. It's about how much am I going to get paid. I want to be a rock star. I want to have nice stuff. I want to party all the time. You know, that's all it's about with some people. And I think actually that's a majority of the groups out in music right now. It's not about playing music. It's about being seen, which I think is very unfortunate. And I think the 80s has a lot to do with that.
Yeah. You think that sort of perspective on it grew really large in the 80s?
Well, I think the mentality of the public actually shifted a lot in the 80s. I think it went to a more technological based, kind of a colder society than it was before in the 60s and 70s. Especially, I mean, you can tell by the change in the way the art is, fashion, the way people express themselves through music. It all changed in the 80s. There was a lot
of the generalization of creation, kind of. Is that a good way to describe it? Because and that goes back to technology and what we were talking about just a second ago. But the easier it is to do everything, the more people are going to do it for sure. So, I mean, and it's good and bad, because on the one hand you've got lots of people creating stuff, which is good. But if they're not taking the time to really get really proficient, really distinguished at whatever it is, and they're just kind of rushing into, I want to produce a bunch of stuff to get popular, you know, again, it's unfortunate. And sometimes some people will be, you know, that much of a prodigy that they can do that and pull it off and create some really amazing things, and that's good. But I still have to wonder, even in those cases, if they might have been able to create something vastly better if they had taken their time and mastered their craft and gotten really associated with whatever it is that they're working on.
Well, that's another thing that you said, taking your time. You know, everything now is about how fast can I get something.
Instant gratification.
Yeah, instant gratification, exactly. And, I mean, if you really look at the bands that recorded analog, you know, like Donald Fagen from Steely Dan, those albums took years to make. Now pop stars will go into a studio and make an album in a week, if that. Some people can lay an album in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Especially if the music's already made, and really most music today, it doesn't even take long to record.
Right.
Because you have the computer, you have the option to loop stuff, and you know, a lot of the rock songs you hear on the radio, pop songs, most of that they play one verse and a chorus and they loop the rest of it.
Yeah.
You know, they chop it up and loose. The drums are all programmed in.
Yeah. It's all formulas. Like, there's a formula of how to make your standard song, you know, your standard pop song, and there's probably a few different, I don't know all of the structures of everything, but I'm sure that there are different structures for different styles of music. But at the same time, it's all just set out, so people are like, this is how you make this kind of song. You have this introduction and this verse part, this chorus part, a bridge, and you know, all the different parts, and they fit together like this. And
that's why I like Lotus Blake so much. Yeah. National Hotel.
Yeah, because those guys, you guys, us guys,
you guys,
just like watching Matthew play, watching Eric play, watching Gary and Stewie and you, like, just you obviously feel the music, and it's kind of an organic. It just grows, and you know, and Matt Novak also, but just seeing you guys interact with each other while you're playing music, and you know, you've already got a basic melody worked out because the songs are, you know, have already been practiced a few times, and then you've got Eric on drums adding these amazing percussion parts, and you can feel the energy build, and you've got, you know, you're busting out these just ridiculous guitar parts, and Matt Novak is an amazing guitar player. Gary's an amazing bass player. Like, just to see all of you guys work together and so cohesively, like, it's an amazing experience.
Yeah, and that's you know, that's about a lot of us about practicing has to do with getting tight.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a lot of bands that go out and play shows that aren't tight. They haven't put the work in the practice. And it's uncomfortable when it shows, like when you can feel that they're not really ready to be doing what they're doing sometimes. It's kind of unprofessional, you know. If you're not willing to put in the work and the effort, don't take up the slot of a band that is going to, you know. It's kind of like work. You know, if you're gonna not show up, Don't take somebody else's job.
And I mean, there is something to be said. Like, everybody has a bad show every once in a while.
I'm not saying you're not
but-
going to mess up if you practice hard, but what I am saying is you can tell when somebody works and when somebody doesn't.
It's worth it to
practice.
put in the work and
Mhm.
and get your stuff really down. I agree with that, without a doubt. Do you want to play anything else, man?
I'm getting kind of tired.
Getting kind of tired?
Yeah.
We can wrap it up if you like.
Yeah, if that's good with you.
Right on. This is Maplex Monk. We're broadcasting live from the Creative Community Studio. We've got with us today Danny DeYeti, also known as Danny Shaw from Lotus Blake and National Hotel now. And
Yes, sir.
he's been playing some amazing jams on the keyboard and a few different instrument packs that we've been going through. And he's going to be back again with us very soon. And we're going to be...
Always enjoyed.
Yeah. Last night we went to... Danny didn't go, but last night I went to the Word Spoken at Haymarket Whiskey Bar, which I haven't talked about at all today. But yeah, that was a great time. Lots of great people that are always there, regular faces, and a few new ones. I got my friend Jody Bren to get up on stage, which was really awesome. She did this thing that I've heard her do before, but she's got memorized, and it sounds like a freestyle, even though I know that she has it memorized. Like, it sounds like stuff that she's just coming up with off the top of her head, and she does some singy parts, and she does some spoken word kind of parts. But yeah, it was a really great experience, and I was really excited to see her get up on stage.
Cool.
And
Kind of
do
mad
some
I
things.
missed it, but
Yeah, I mean, it's cool.
I had practiced.
Yeah. I didn't invite a whole bunch of people to this one for some reason. I don't know if I was just distracted and involved in other things, but it was a really good time. This has been Danny DeYeti, Maplex Monk, the Creative Community. This is Sessions with Maplex Monk. We're going to be back again soon. You all have a wonderful evening. We love you.
Good night.